In a future where the galaxy is ruled by a monolithic alien power known as the Varian Dominion, the concept of humanity is completely unknown. Earth, if it ever existed, has long since been scrubbed from all maps and databases. The Dominion has maintained peace and control for over 1,000 years by tightly regulating knowledge, technology, and even historical records. No species is allowed to remember a past that might threaten the present balance of power. Dr. Kale Vorta, a brilliant but disgraced xenohistorian from the neutral planet Sovanek, has spent his life chasing forbidden questions. Who came before the Dominion? Were there advanced civilizations that disappeared without explanation? His theories have made him a pariah among academics and a target for Dominion censors. Yet Kale refuses to stop digging. During a solo expedition to a quarantined planet located in the Outer Rim, a dead world officially labeled uninhabitable XJ9, Kyle makes a shocking discovery. Beneath the planet's surface, buried in layers of ash and rubble, he uncovers the ruins of a once great city. The architecture is unfamiliar to him, but it radiates purpose and power. Among the rubble, he finds remnants of machines unlike any Dominion tech, smooth metallic structures with engraved lettering and a strange alphabet. But what chills him most is the discovery of skeletal remains, humanoid, but different from any known species. Kale takes samples and scans everything he can. The skeletal structure is tall, symmetrical, and shockingly similar to an extinct species often dismissed in fringe literature as myth: humans. One of the bone samples contains degraded but recoverable DNA. When he analyzes it through his lab systems, the results are impossible. The DNA has a 99.9% similarity to his own. His findings trigger an automated distress signal from the ruins, and before he can leave the system, a Dominion patrol ship appears. Kale narrowly escapes, but not before one of his drones is captured, along with some of his research. He knows now, someone didn't just forget about humans, they erased them, deliberately. Shaken and exhilarated, Kale returns to Sovanek under a false identity. There he begins a covert operation, reaching out to old colleagues and hackers to piece together what remains of the forbidden past. He finds scattered rumors in restricted archives, references to an ancient species that once pushed the boundaries of science, expanded rapidly across the stars, and vanished almost overnight. Mentions of Earth, Sol, and the name Homo sapiens exist only as corrupted fragments, scrubbed from official records but barely hanging on in the deep digital layers of forgotten data. He realizes that the Varian Dominion didn't just rewrite history, they committed a genocide so complete it removed even the memory of an entire species. Kyle makes a decision. This truth cannot remain buried. Even if it costs him his life, the galaxy must know what was taken. He begins assembling a team of outlaw researchers, smugglers, and dissidents. Their goal is simple: uncover the truth and make the galaxy remember. What Kale doesn't yet know is that this discovery will not only reignite old truths, but spark a war the Dominion thought it had buried forever. Kale Vorta's discovery changes everything, but the truth is more dangerous than he ever imagined. Now marked as a criminal by the Varian Dominion, Kale knows he can't return to his former life. He hides in the back streets of Dravarn Station, a neutral trading hub in the Outer Rim, where black market data, stolen relics, and forbidden tech change hands in the shadows. From this underground network, Kale begins pulling together a small group of outcasts: a former Dominion AI engineer named Tessari Quen, a silent ex-soldier with cybernetic implants known only as Rel, and Juno, teenage hacker raised in the information slums of Zarnath City. Each has been burned by the Dominion in different ways, and each has a reason to see it fall. Together they analyze the ruins Kale discovered and piece together scattered data fragments, smuggled records, and relics found on the black market. What they uncover is staggering. Humans were once a dominant force in the galaxy, advanced far beyond what is allowed today. They were explorers, inventors, and sometimes conquerors, flawed but extraordinary. Their technology rivaled anything the Dominion currently claims to have invented. But then, without warning, humanity vanished. Juno breaks through a Dominion encryption barrier and finds part of a classified military report, centuries old. The file refers to Operation Nullseed, a coordinated strike involving dozens of Dominion fleets. The mission: eliminate a growing human-led alliance before it could challenge Dominion authority. The language is clinical, devoid of emotion, but the implications are horrifying. The Dominion didn't just destroy humanity's power, it wiped out their existence. History was rewritten, archives purged, planets renamed. Humanity became a myth, a ghost species erased from the galactic memory. And now, anyone who even mentions the possibility of their existence is labeled a heretic or seditionist. As Kale's team continues its search, they realize that remnants of human civilization still exist, scattered across forgotten planets and ancient star routes, entire vaults of knowledge and technology lying dormant. But they are not the only ones looking. Dominion agents, alerted by Kale's initial signal, are now hunting the team, quietly but relentlessly. Kale narrowly escapes an assassination attempt aboard Dravarn Station, and Rel's old military codes are burned when he's forced to fight off a tracker drone in the lower tunnels. Despite the danger, the team presses on. Tessari recovers a corrupted human archive from a crashed research vessel, files of music, video, and literature, proof that humanity was not only real but deeply creative and emotional. They watch ancient Earth videos in awe, reading poetry and listening to orchestral music that moves them in ways they can't explain. The question becomes clear. Why was humanity considered so dangerous that it had to be erased completely? Kale realizes the answer must lie deeper, in the Dominion's inner archives guarded in the capital world of Virius Prime. Getting there will require more than stealth. It will require allies, ships, and a plan. The galaxy doesn't know what's coming. But Kale is certain now. If humanity's memory is this powerful, then their return might be the spark that sets the stars on fire. The truth alone won't be enough. Now they have to fight. The deeper Kale's team digs, the more undeniable the truth becomes. Humanity didn't vanish. It was systematically exterminated and erased. But Kale believes there's more to uncover than ruins and erased records. He believes some part of why humanity may have survived. Their breakthrough comes from a fragmented star map hidden within a damaged human archive retrieved by Tessari. It points to a system beyond the Dominion's outer patrols, lost in a region of space known as the Shroud, a chaotic zone where navigation systems fail and ships disappear. Dominion ships rarely venture there, too unstable, too risky. Kale's team, flying in a patched-up stealth freighter, plunges into the Shroud. After days of navigating radiation storms and gravitational anomalies, they find something incredible. A colossal derelict vessel, drifting in the void. It bears ancient human insignia, the words Ark Horizon, barely legible across its battered hull. The ship is still sealed, its life support systems barely functional, protected by emergency power that has lasted centuries. Inside, they find hundreds of cryogenic pods, intact, silent, undisturbed. After careful restoration, Tessari reboots the system and begins revival protocols. One by one, the pods hiss open. The last survivors of humanity awaken. Among them is Captain Alara Mays, the Ark Horizon's commander, and a veteran of the human Dominion. Conflict. Her memories are fractured by time and cryosleep trauma, but she remembers enough. The war, the betrayal, the last desperate mission to escape extinction. Ark Horizon was humanity's final gambit, a colony ship sent into exile before Earth fell. Alara and her crew are stunned to learn they've been asleep for nearly 1,000 years. The world they fought to protect is not only gone, it's been scrubbed from history. As they grieve, Kyle shares what little he's recovered of Earth's legacy, its art, its music, its philosophies. The humans listen in silence, tears falling freely. They are relics of a forgotten era, but within them lies the essence of what humanity once was, and could be again. Emotions run high. Some survivors want to hide, fearing the Dominion will finish what it started. But others, especially Ilara, are furious. "We didn't come all this way just to die in the dark," she says. "If they buried us, we'll dig our way back." Kale proposes an alliance. His team has knowledge, contacts, and the means to operate under the Dominion's radar. The humans have combat experience, leadership, and the potential to rally others with their story. Together they can strike a blow, not just with weapons, but with truth. A decision is made. The crew of the Ark Horizon will follow Kale. The ship is retrofitted with salvaged tech, renamed the Revenant, and prepared for a campaign to restore humanity's legacy and expose the Dominion's crimes. But word spreads fast in the galactic underworld. Whispers of human survivors reach dangerous ears. The Dominion escalates its efforts, deploying elite hunters and activating ancient protocols designed to kill on-site any human presence. Kyle's discovery didn't just revive the past. It ignited a firestorm. The last survivors are no longer just relics of history. They are the spark of rebellion. With the last survivors of humanity awake and aboard the Revenant, Kale's team now faces the daunting challenge of reigniting a forgotten legacy in a galaxy that has been conditioned to forget it ever existed. The human crew, once scattered and dormant, is filled with a mix of hope and fury. Their mission is clear: expose the Dominion's lies and reclaim their place in the stars. But the Dominion is not blind to the threat. Its leaders label the humans and their allies as dangerous heretics, enemies of galactic order who must be crushed immediately. Dominion warships patrol the space lanes with renewed vigilance, hunting down any trace of human activity. The galaxy's fragile peace is about to shatter. Kale and Ilara know that brute force alone won't win this fight. The Dominion controls most military assets, but the truth, once unleashed, could spark a far wider rebellion. Their plan centers on one objective: broadcast the undeniable proof of humanity's existence and history to every system. To do this, they target the Dominion's communication network. It's a fortress of encrypted satellites, relay stations, and heavily guarded broadcast hubs, all designed to filter and control information across the galaxy. Penetrating it will be dangerous. If caught, it means certain death or worse. Juno's hacking skills come to the forefront. Infiltrating Dominion cyber defenses, she discovers a weak point: a major communication hub located on the mining colony planet Vessera. The planet's isolation and chaotic political situation make it the perfect place for a covert strike. Kyle's crew assembles a small strike team. Using stealth technology and guerrilla tactics, they infiltrate Vessera's surface and seize control of the communication facility. The team races against time as Dominion reinforcements close in. Once inside, they broadcast live footage of the awakened humans, the recovered relics, and detailed archival evidence of the Dominion's genocide and historical erasure. The broadcast shatters the sanitized galactic narrative, reaching billions across star systems. Screens flicker with images of Earth, of human culture, and testimonies from the last survivors. The impact is instantaneous and explosive. Across the galaxy, citizens begin to question everything they've been taught. Some alien species who once unquestioningly supported the Dominion now demand answers. Underground movements inspired by Kale's broadcast begin to stir, organizing protests and sabotage efforts. The Dominion's control starts to crack, but it strikes back hard. Dominion fleets launch brutal reprisals on systems suspected of harboring human sympathizers. Media blackouts, curfews, and mass arrests become commonplace. The Dominion propaganda machine accelerates, branding the humans as terrorists and their supporters as traitors to galactic peace. Within this chaos, Kale and his team move from system to system, sowing hope and resistance. They forge fragile alliances with disenfranchised planets and species who suffered under Dominion rule, slowly building a coalition. The spark of rebellion is growing, but it is still fragile, vulnerable to destruction. The most dangerous enemy, however, lies within: fear and doubt. Some humans struggle with the weight of their lost history and the price of vengeance. Others debate whether reigniting war will only lead to more death and destruction. Alara's resolve becomes a beacon. We fight not just for revenge, but for the right to be remembered, to exist. If we lose that, everything is lost. The war for memory has begun. The battlefield is both physical and ideological. Kale's team understands that winning this war means not only defeating the Dominion's fleets, but reclaiming the galaxy's truth, one system, one mind, at a time. The broadcast from Viscera's communication hub ignited a firestorm. Across the galaxy, dormant tensions erupted as countless species and factions grappled with the revelation. The Varian Dominion's entire history was a lie, and humans, once powerful and vibrant, had been erased. Now rebellion was no longer just a whisper in the shadows. It was a full-blown conflict. The Dominion's grip on the galaxy, once near absolute, began to falter. Key systems that had quietly supported Kale's message rose up in open defiance. Rebel fleets composed of human survivors and sympathetic alien allies launched coordinated attacks on Dominion installations. Sabotage crippled supply lines, communication networks, and military outposts. Kale and Alara, aboard the Revenant, found themselves at the forefront of a rapidly expanding war. Their small but determined coalition faced overwhelming odds. Dominion. Warships outnumbered them and boasted superior technology. But the rebels had something the Dominion lacked, a moral cause that inspired the galaxy's oppressed. The conflict unfolded on multiple fronts. In space, dogfights and fleet battles raged over critical star systems. On planets, underground resistance cells staged guerrilla operations, disrupting Dominion governance and inspiring local populations to join the fight. The Dominion retaliated fiercely, employing brutal tactics including mass arrests, public executions, and scorched earth campaigns designed to crush dissent. One of the war's most critical battles took place near Ardax Prime, a resource-rich world that had long been a Dominion stronghold. The rebels launched a surprise attack to seize the planet's orbital defense platforms, hoping to cut off Dominion reinforcements and control a key supply route. The battle was fierce and costly. Ships were lost, lives sacrificed. But the Ebauder rebels' determination and tactical ingenuity turned the tide. Ardax Prime became a symbol of resistance, rallying support from other systems. Amidst the chaos, Kale and Alara grappled with the toll of war. The surviving humans struggled not just against the Dominion, but also against their own trauma and grief. Memories of lost worlds, families, and a stolen past weighed heavily on them. Some questioned whether their fight for recognition was worth the mounting cost. Yet Kale reminded them of their mission. This is not just a battle for territory or power. It's a fight to restore the truth, to reclaim our place in history. If we lose our story, we lose ourselves. Political ramifications rippled through the galaxy. Several alien factions who had once been neutral or loyal to the Dominion reconsidered their alliances. Some declared open support for the rebellion, seeing in it a chance to break free from Dominion oppression. Others remained hesitant, fearing the chaos that war would bring. The Dominion, feeling the pressure, began desperate measures. Secret projects aimed at creating new weapons and agents designed to infiltrate and dismantle the rebel coalition intensified. Propaganda campaigns portrayed the rebels as dangerous fanatics seeking galactic chaos, but the tide was turning. With each victory, the rebels broadcast more evidence of the Dominion's lies and crimes. The galaxy's population, awakened to decades of manipulation, grew more emboldened. Underground networks flourished, spreading the human story and inspiring others to resist. The war for memory was no longer just a fight between armies. It was a revolution of minds, hearts, and history itself. Kale, Alara, and their allies understood that their struggle was not only to win the war, but to ensure that humanity's legacy and the truth of the past would never again be erased. The war for memory had raged across star systems for years, but now, after countless battles and sacrifices, the rebellion led by Kale, Alara, and their allies stood on the brink of victory. The once mighty Varian Dominion, fractured and weakened, faced its final reckoning. The decisive moment came during the siege of Virius Prime, the Dominion's capital world and the heart of its power. For centuries, Virius Prime had been a symbol of control and oppression, its sprawling cities and towering citadels a testament to the Dominion's dominance. But now rebel fleets surrounded its orbit, and resistance fighters had infiltrated the city streets. Kyle and Alara coordinated with their coalition leaders to launch a two-pronged assault. Space forces engaged Dominion warships in a massive battle above the planet, while ground teams fought to seize control of key government and archive facilities. The battle was fierce and costly. The Dominion was desperate to hold its last stronghold. Amid the chaos, the rebels breached the Central Archive, a vast data repository containing the Dominion's historical records, military secrets, and propaganda files. Inside, Kale found the final pieces of humanity's erased story, documents, videos, and testimonies painstakingly hidden for centuries. The proof was irrefutable. The rebel command decided to make the archive public immediately, broadcasting the full truth to the galaxy in real time. Screens across star systems lit up with the revelation. Not only had the Dominion committed genocide against humanity, but it had also systematically rewritten galactic history to hide its crimes. The broadcast ignited a wave of shock, outrage, and solidarity. Many who had supported or tolerated the Dominion turned against it. Riots and protests erupted on Dominion-controlled worlds. The moral authority of the rebellion surged. Faced with overwhelming pressure, the Dominion leadership surrendered. The surviving leaders were arrested, tried, and held accountable in the newly established Galactic Council, a coalition government formed by representatives of rebel factions, humans, and formerly oppressed species alike. For humanity, this victory was more than political, it was existential. The surviving humans, once hidden away in cryogenic sleep and forgotten by time, were officially recognized as a sovereign people. Earth was rediscovered and restored as a cultural and historical center, a symbol of resilience and rebirth. Kale watched as human artifacts, art, literature, and music flooded back into the public consciousness. Museums were rebuilt, schools reopened, and stories long suppressed were told again. The human legacy was no longer a whispered myth, but a living, breathing part of galactic culture. But the victory was bittersweet. The cost of war had been immense. Friends and allies were lost, homes destroyed, and scars, both physical and emotional, remained. Ilara reminded everyone that remembrance was not just about celebrating survival, but honoring those who had fallen. The Galactic Council worked to ensure that no species would ever again be erased or forgotten. New laws protected cultural heritage and historical truth. Programs were established to heal old wounds and rebuild trust among the galaxy's diverse peoples. Kale, standing on the restored surface of Earth for the first time, felt a deep sense of closure and a new beginning. Humanity had not only reclaimed its past but also forged a future among the stars. He knew the war had ended, but the work of healing and rebuilding had only just begun. The story of humanity was finally theirs, to tell forever, part of the galaxy's tapestry.